Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Professional People Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Diederich, and my guest on this episode is Kevin Camus, the founder of LaunchKit. Kevin started his business right after graduating from Grand Valley University and is helping small business owners redesign their online presence from everything website, design, photography, and videography. LaunchKit does it all. This is a great episode, and you'll learn a lot from Kevin and I's conversations, so I hope you enjoy. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Professional People Podcast. Super excited to have on my guest and friend, Kevin Camus from LaunchKit. Kevin, welcome to the show.
How's it going, Dan? Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, I'll post a clip of it before I post this episode, but I was just talking with Connor Stoll from Preferred Dealer Solutions, and you guys just did their website, kind of got us rolling and got us into the podcast. But for those of you who didn't listen to episode 18, can you kind of give a little background of what LaunchKit is, your background, and how you started the business yourself?
Yeah, of course, it'd be honored. Great question. So I graduated actually from Grand Valley, coming up on a year ago. And during my time at Grand Valley, I had always done like freelance, like creative work. So web design, graphic design, photography, and I was the like guy within my like friend group that like did that stuff for friends and family. So I was always doing that during my time in school to, earn some extra cash. And I never did like the traditional like in business internship during business school. I went to Grand Valley I got a double major in marketing and general management. Never did an internship. I always just did this creative work on the side because I really enjoyed the doing whatever I could do to like provide value to those around me. And I felt that my way of providing value to others was through creating these forms of content, whether it was websites, graphics, photos, or videos for small businesses. I did it during school. I did it for my family's business. It's kind of how I learned everything. And when graduation rolled around last spring, it was definitely a weird time to graduate. With coronavirus and big companies kind of really slowing down hiring and even laying people off. I had interviewed like for a few positions with bigger companies here in Grand Rapids and didn't quite feel like a good connection with it, and didn't want to sit on the sidelines and kind of like wait for companies to start hiring. So I was kind of like, all right, like what could I do today to like earn some cash? And resorted back to my providing creative services to people, and just started making websites for friends and family, shooting photos, putting those two together, and kind of just like started the cycle of getting more clients. So fast forward to now today, I as the snowball started rolling, getting more clients, I kind of realized that I needed to put a business behind myself to help present myself to companies, and then as well as to expand and grow my team. So that is where LaunchKit comes into play. So, now we're called LaunchKit because we work with local businesses to help launch their online presence. And whenever we shoot content, designs, we like to package everything and deliver it to you in a well-organized kit. So yeah, that's LaunchKit.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great story of how you just kind of took an idea and made it into a reality. You kind of alluded to it earlier, working in the family business and kind of being able to test out your skills and learn the ropes. Can you go a little bit more in depth on how you develop the skills to create, to do the creative and create all this great content?
Yeah, good question. So my family's business, we're here in Grand Rapids. They own a golf course here in Grand Rapids, Alpine Golf Club. And, I will I'm very, very thankful for my family and everything they've done for me. They've given me opportunities to learn is the best way I can describe it. So throughout high school and college, they gave me the opportunity to get involved with Alpine and kind of learn the business, learn how things worked, and then again, provide value where I could. So, in high school, I was moving golf carts and stuff, and then eventually went into the golf shop, kind of learned how the business worked. And then as I'm learning how the business worked, I realized we needed some improvements. And the main improvement we really needed was a total new website and social media, like just general online presence. That was the opportunity to learn everything, because Alpine was in a position where, I mean, like most small businesses and local businesses, it wasn't appropriate for them to like go out and hire a big agency to come in and do a website design. It wasn't in the budget, frankly. So the only option really was for me to figure out how to do it. So I literally, like, this was back in high school, so probably like 5 years ago. Literally just started like watching YouTube videos, reading articles, forums, and just seeing what was going on in the web design industry. But Alpine was what allowed me to learn that. So we had no other option. So I just started chipping away, trying to figure out how to build my website. And along the way, realized I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed understanding a business, and then how a website can provide value for them, because it's all different. For the golf course, the website provides value because golfers usually want to know how much 9 holes in the cart cost on Saturday morning, and then the phone number to call for a tee time. So understanding how the website provides value, I really enjoyed that process of learning how to provide that for other people. So over the years of doing it, building Alpine's website and building some like family and friends website who just needed some help getting one going, that's pretty much how I learned all the web design stuff. And then now I've gotten, I'm thankful to be in a place where I can take those skills and help other people out.
Yeah, it's super interesting to see how you kind of learn more about the website and design and creative work through just trial and error and doing it yourself rather than in school. I'm sure
Totally.
that school taught you some things, but what can you say to kind of, for people who may not even be going to college but want to develop their skills and learn more stuff of how to do stuff? You alluded to like the forums and YouTube things. How do you, I mean, it's so easy, it's right at your fingertips, but how do you kind of find the right stuff when you're navigating all of the information on the internet?
Yeah, it's a good topic. And it's interesting. I like your point about, going to school. So, I mentioned I went to Grand Valley for marketing and general management. And I had a great time. I learned a lot in college. Um, However, I don't necessarily use really much of what I learned in school and what I do in my day-to-day like operations or running my business. But I mean, college definitely, my like takeaway, it taught it. I learned how to learn. I learned how to, run my schedule, like be organized, get places on time, and present myself professionally. Um, the real like learning your day-to-day stuff is being in tune to what you're interested in, and look around and say, okay, I'm interested in photography. How could I kind of turn that into a business? How could I earn income from that? And like dive into that niche community online. Another great, I love social media, has its ups and downs. I see definitely one of the positives is connecting with other like-minded people. So I made an effort to follow and connect with other like designers and photographers and people involved in the industry, to help learn more. And then just always be curious. Like if you see a great software out there, don't be afraid to learn how to use it, even if it looks scary to begin with. If you're interested in it, dive into it, and that'll help you kind of find what you're interested in and learn your topics.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I like your point about school too, just keeping you organized and how to present yourself. I definitely agree with you and have similar feelings. My next question, you kind of touched on it a little bit too. Kind of who are your best clients to work with? Kind of who's your niche market and who do you work best with?
Sure. Good question. My favorite people to work with is, I mean, LaunchKit's target market is any sort of like small local business. So any business that whether they're established or they're new, that they're basically just looking to develop their online presence. In a case like, you had mentioned Connor Stoll. So working with the Stoll family was a great experience. Very well-run, organized business. Has been very successful over the years, but just didn't have the developed online presence. So there was the opportunity there to make a great business even better. So they were a perfect example. Local business based in Rockford, can really serve anybody in Michigan and even beyond throughout the country. They were honestly the perfect example of a great target market. Professional people to work with looking to invest and grow their business. And we're able to develop them an online platform that really shows their services, what they can provide, the people behind the business. We really focused on the Stoll family and the value that they provide to the community. And then really featuring your customers' testimonials, reviews. So small local businesses that are looking to present themselves online. I really enjoy working directly with the business owners themselves to really understand what the business owner's vision is for their company, and then how I can help them present that online. I like to create websites that are authentic to the owner's vision, to help spread that message.
I think that's awesome. And it started off with friends and family, so you kind of fell into it and were able to, just get your feet wet. What has been the hardest part in the next step of your business of making it legit and making it, its own business? What has been the hardest part as a young entrepreneur?
Sure, great question. Definitely the hardest part has been learning like the things they don't teach you in school. Realizing, last month that I had to go through and do all my taxes and, figuring those things out. All my accounting, how to use QuickBooks and accounting software and make sure the bills are getting paid. A lot of that stuff I just didn't learn in school. Maybe I didn't take the right classes, but there's a lot of things in my day-to-day operations that I didn't learn before doing this. Like hell, I remember when the first time I worked with a bigger engineering company, they asked for like my EIN number and my like tax ID number. And to be honest, I like didn't even know what that was. And so it's like, you have to like kind of figure these things out on the fly, realize, okay, I need to file an LLC. How do I go about doing that? How do I, make sure I'm doing my taxes properly? And just really like figuring it out as you go. It can be a little scary because you might not be confident in what you're doing at first, but it's definitely a fun grind of like learning something new every day.
For sure. And on the flip side of that question, what's been the most rewarding part as starting your own business as a young entrepreneur?
Sure, great question. It's definitely been the ability to work directly with businesses and see an impact made, to see that I can, create something that I can then give someone, and then it gives them a large amount of value in a sense, to see the look on their faces when they get their photographs delivered to them or see their website delivered. And then they're always excited at first. And when they see like the analytics after a few months and see what it's doing, that makes me feel good because that's what's made me feel confident in my product, to know that I'm providing something good to the community. And then just, from an entrepreneur standpoint, I really enjoy being able to set my own schedule and, kind of weave these things into my day-to-day schedule. It's great to be able to schedule this podcast today and be able to come on here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. What is some advice that you would give younger Kevin pre-LaunchKit if you could go back and just give him a little whisper in the ear? What would you tell him?
Yeah, good question. So I'm thinking like freshman year of college, because I feel like that's like a point in like a lot of people's life where you can go down a few different paths of what you want to do because you're learning about yourself. And my like biggest advice to a freshman in college or even younger, any age really, is to make the effort to get involved in your niche and in your community or your university. It can be like a little scary, intimidating at first to like put yourself out there. But it's so worth it because you end up surrounding yourself with a good group of people that'll help you kind of take those next steps. I remember when I was a freshman at Grand Valley, I had heard about this organization called AMA, it stands for American Marketing Association, and the Grand Valley had a chapter. And I heard about it because I sat next to a guy in a class who was the president of this organization, and I just thought he had it all together. He was like, he was living it up, and he was the president of this organization, and he put me on the mailing list to come like to one of their meetings. Really nice guy. He was one of my best friends now. But he put me on the mailing list to come, and I was scared to go, to be honest. I was like, I'm a freshman, like I'm scared to come to the business college and go to this meeting. And sophomore year rolled around, and I finally decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go. And so I went to the first AMA meeting, and I'm so thankful that I went because it ended up being such a great organization that I got involved with. Ended up getting involved with the board, and then I got to serve as the vice president my senior year of college. But for my whole college experience, AMA was the best part, without a doubt. I got to do more like fun trips and learn things than anything. And if I wouldn't have gone to that first meeting, it would have never happened. So you gotta get involved. You gotta put yourself out there and like find. It doesn't even have to be something professional like a marketing association. Even if it's just a, let's say you're really into photography. You want to get involved with a local photography group. Do it. You'll meet good people, and good things will come from it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that advice. You can never meet too many people, especially. And I feel like sometimes people's head might get to the point where like, I need to learn a little bit more before I put myself in this situation. But I think to your point is putting yourself in that position before you even know will accelerate your learning because you'll have people who have already been there and done and been where you are to help you along the way. So I think that's great advice to
Yeah, without a doubt. Best step is just take the first step. Just get started.
For sure. And I think that's great advice to pre-Kevin and everyone listening.
Yes, I would like to hope so.
How have you been able to use your own services? You talk about telling an authentic story and putting that online into content. How have you been able to use that for your own business and help promoting LaunchKit?
Yeah, no, good question. It was definitely fun, developing LaunchKit's branding and positioning in the market. It's interesting doing it for yourself when you're used to doing it for other people. It's cool to do it for yourself. And I took the approach when branding LaunchKit. I wanted to develop a site that was very user friendly, because I know the target market that we're looking to work with is local business owners who maybe they're not the most tech savvy or understanding of web development. So I'm not trying to make LaunchKit look like overly complicated to like show off. We develop a very like honest, transparent website presence so that they can kind of see it and get a feel for what their own website could look like. I also, take a branding approach where, if you go to LaunchKit's website, all of LaunchKit's colors are like neutral grays, because I didn't want LaunchKit's branding to overpower a client's branding. I want our clients and partners branding to stand out, because that's where we truly provide value, not in LaunchKit's branding, but in our clients' branding. So I kind of, have taken that to the website and developed that website presence, and then I really really enjoy using social media to just like display the work that we're doing. So while we are working on a website project, share some behind the scenes content of what we're working on, to just kind of like make people familiar with the process of what goes into building a website. Because for a lot of people that can be a kind of intimidating sounding process. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna build this website. What all goes into this? So I try to take the most user friendly approach possible and really break it down step by step so that business owners feel comfortable taking on a project to develop their online presence. So I really like breaking things down to steps. I love a good process. I'm a big fan of that. So, helping the business owner see the steps ahead, understand the overall project, and again, just make for the best experience possible. Another one of my favorite things about building websites and brands for businesses is creating a journey that you can bring the business owner down, where they learn more about their own business and really start to think about their values and how they want to present themselves online. What do you want your customer to feel when they land on your website? Your website speaks to your business. How do you want them to feel when you land on it? And it really gets business owners thinking about their business, and it really lets them kind of dive deep and think about their values, think about their mission. So I enjoy creating a process that helps people discover those things.
I think that's a super interesting point. And because I think, with business owners, everyone gets so busy and caught up in the day to day that they almost forget to think about that stuff. And it gets put
Sure.
way in the back shelf of the brain. And just bringing that to light and really, being focused and deliberate on how you want to present your story online is kind of what I'm getting that you take your clients through. And I think it's super important as a business owner, especially in today's day and age where most people are visiting your website before they're ever going to see you in person.
Spot on. A lot of times the Google search or website is the first interaction that someone's had with your business, right? So that's the customer experience starts there. They're usually going to look for an answer, right? So they look you up online and find their answer, and what's their experience when they're going through that process. So I enjoy thinking all the way from the beginning with a Google search. So if you're talking about a golf course, they're Googling 18-hole golf course in Grand Rapids, Michigan, something like that. The customer experience starts there.
Yeah, I agree. So you kind of alluded to it in your previous answer, but how do you what's your keys to success when you're doing mostly business to business marketing? You kind of just sharing authentic teaching, educational content. What else are you kind of using to generate B2B interaction on social?
Yeah, good question. So I like posting about the people behind your business. People connect with other people, right? So let your customers know the team behind the business. It's one of the really good things like we've done with Alpine, with the golf course, is featuring all the team members on our social media, and letting them know what's going on behind the scenes. Don't be afraid to show that stuff. People like seeing it, and it helps people develop a more of a relationship. People do business with people they're comfortable with, right? And you need to, or it's important to put yourself out there and put your team members out there, and show what goes into the work you do. And having a good professional network is very valuable. It's like the oldest business joke in the book is it's all about who you know. So put your people out there, and it one of the cool things we found, especially with Alpine, featuring team members, it gave them a sense of pride in being a part of the team. It enriched their job to know that the company cares about them, and is proud to feature them online, and just show we're proud of our employees, and here's what they do, and here's what makes them great. Um, I think that's great. Focus on people. If you focus on your people, you'll develop good relationships, and the rest comes from there.
I'm just laughing in my head right now because I run all of our social media stuff over here at TDA, and our happy birthday posts of the employees get the most traction always. Not
Yes.
the insurance that gets
It's because people connect with people. Same thing with the golf course. The posts that get the most engagement are when someone's genuine face is in there, because that's what somebody connects with, and they see the happy birthday post, they can relate to that. You know how it feels to have somebody wish you happy birthday. It feels good. So people, I like to think the best of people, and they want to wish somebody else a happy birthday.
For sure. I think that's great advice. For people who have been listening, maybe some business owners on here that are interested in redoing their online presence, can you kind of walk through your process at LaunchKit of setting up a new website and online presence for a business?
Yeah, great question. This is like one of my favorite parts about doing websites. Like I said earlier, like I love a good process. So I spent a lot of time really looking at what goes into this project, right? And developing the process. So the first step is for me and the business owner or representative from the business to sit down for a cup of coffee and have a discussion about their business, because I want to get to know as much as possible about your business. I'll ask you questions about your target market, what products and services do you offer, and I'm asking those questions because the more that I understand your business, the better I can kind of turn around and then create that website, right? So we start by, we no website design terms. We just talking about your business, getting the feel for kind of, okay, you offer all these products and services. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking through how I can turn that into a website. So that's step one. Is we get together. I call it a project kickoff meeting. It's like an hour-long meeting. We just sit down together, talk about business. From there, I've then learned enough about your business where my team can create what we call a framework, which is basically like a live clickable preview of your new website that you can go to. You can click around. It looks like a website and everything. There'll be like filler text and photos, just kind of hold the place of things. But the idea is to get an understanding of the general structure and layout of the website. It helps to have something in front of you that you can click around on and get a feel for. So then we meet again. And for our second meeting, we now review the framework and we begin to think about all the content that should go into each page. So for example, the content that all should be featured on the home page, featured on the about page, what contact information do you want to put on the contact page? We start thinking through each page and the content that goes into it. Things change, right? It's just the nature of business, and your website should move along with you. One of my biggest pet peeves that kind of got me started doing this was I just don't like outdated websites, right? It makes an immediate first impression when I land on your site and I see that it's updated with current information. I immediately feel good about your business. So I say that the website's ready for launch, right? Because I like to start with a solid foundation. It's not like the website's never finished, right? It's a solid foundation. It's the backbone of your online presence. And we put it out there. It starts getting traffic. People are learning about your business. And then as time goes on, me and my team are always here to update the website, make new pages, change pages, any new things that happen in your business. I want to create a web page for it. I want to update content. So it's an ongoing process going forward. I like to think of ourselves as a kind of an outside member of your team, and we stay in touch. And anytime there's updates that we can do, we're here for it. And our goal is to handle all your website stuff so that the business owner does not have to worry about it. Any small business owner will know that they wear a lot of hats, and their time is not best spent doing technical web design work. Their time is best spent, leading their company, leading their people, and communicating to us how we can improve their website, update it, and keep it going. So, that's the overall kind of process. It starts with just understanding your business. The more I learn about it, the better I understand what pages and what purpose your website serves. And then we move through step by step of developing a framework, filling it with content, getting it ready for launch, putting it out there in the world, sharing it across your social medias, and then continuously updating it as time goes on. So it's a really fun process. I love going through it. My favorite, like I said, one of my favorite parts about what I do is the working right with the business owner and understanding how we can provide them with value. So yeah, it's what gets me excited and gets me out of bed every day.
Yeah, I think that, as a business owner, I can appreciate that you appreciate the process so much. And I think that, like you said, website design is usually not the number one thing that the business owner should be doing themselves and diving into, but just knowing what's going on in the background, I think gives people a lot of reassurance. So I'm super happy to see that you have that process so refined and redefined. And I think that a lot of the value you bring that we kind of haven't talked about yet is your guys' video and photography is out of this world, man. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's really what sets you guys apart from different website design companies.
Thank you. It puts a smile on my face to see that you noticed that, because that is what we like to say sets us apart from all the other web design companies. So we provide photography, videography, and graphics services that go along with your website. So I am a big believer in, great photos and videos can make your website go from like an 8 to a 10 really quickly. Having great content on there makes a huge difference. So that being said, we make sure to incorporate that in all of our website design projects. At the beginning of a website project, something that's always included is an initial photo shoot. So myself or a team member comes and joins you in your business for a day, and we photograph your operations, whether it's headshots of your employees, your office space, products, services, whatever's going on. We take photos of that, because then what we do is, now that we have those photos, we're able to then turn and use those photos on the website, right? And that extends to, we do videography services and then additional photo services. So, we just wrapped up a really fun project with a tree service company here in Grand Rapids. They do emergency tree service removal. And it was a really fun project because we met for the website planning meeting, and then we went and joined them on a tree removal project in East Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we photographed the whole operation of the team doing their work, really focusing on the team members and how they focusing on their operation. And then my videographer Frankie did a little video documentary documenting the whole project. So it was perfect because then we had that content when we were building the website. We were able to then use that content on the website. So it made for a nice kind of, our goal is an all-in-one package that's a great designed website that also functions very well from a search engine optimization standpoint, and good clean coding and everything, with also great photos and videos of your business on the website. It's one of my kind of beliefs that makes a website stand out is the great content. And it just takes a little bit of extra time to actually shoot the great photos, shoot the great videos, and it has a huge return on your investment.
Yeah, I think I don't do nearly the professional work that you guys do with photos and videos, but just from me shooting them on my iPhone or recording on a computer, the photos and videos that I post on our social media get way more traction than any just regular posts like that. And
Sure.
just when I'm scrolling through my social media and I see LaunchKit stuff, that stuff sticks out even more than the regular photos that you see. And so I totally agree, it makes a world of difference. And I think Frankie does a great job as well. I got to give him a little shout out.
We appreciate that. And I like what you do. You're so good about capturing content on a routine basis. I always like to tell people, yes, we have all these fancy photography and videography tools, but to be honest, like, our phones are getting so good at capturing content. That is really all you need to get started with your business social media. Take pictures of the day-to-day operations, take pictures of what's going on, and just post that content out there. Don't get so stuck on the fact that, oh God, this isn't the perfect picture, or oh my God, if I had this camera, it'd be so much better. If I had this lens, it'd be better. Just work with what you have and put it out there. Just start the ball rolling. If you want to make videos, record them on your phone. That's the best way to start. And people really do connect with the authenticity of phone created content. I've noticed a lot of businesses do a great job with just snapping pictures on their iPhone, and just posting them because people see that as authentic and really like it. So don't let perfection be your enemy of progress, right? Just get started, start putting content out there, and if you need to break out the big guns and use big cameras, then so be it. But don't be afraid to start shooting with your phone.
That's great advice. And if people want to get the ball rolling on redoing their website and getting in touch with LaunchKit, what's the best way for them to kind of get started with that process?
Yeah, of course. I would definitely recommend head over to our website. It's launchkitdesign.com. Just kind of, take a look around, see everything we do. Check out our project portfolio to get an idea for some of our example, websites. And then if you're interested in the web design, go to the web design page. There's actually a whole page within the web design page that lays out the whole process. Starts with get started at the top, walks you through everything you need to know. We have a few different plans. All the pricing's on. We're very transparent about our pricing. All the numbers are on our website. You can see what is included in each plan. It allows you to basically submit an inquiry online. Email goes right to me, and we schedule a either Zoom or in-person meeting to just kind of first start talking, and then we're off and we get to work.
Beautiful. And just curious, can people use your videography and photography and creative design without doing the whole website?
Yeah, yep. So we do, I would like to call it like our a la carte creative services. We have a few good partnerships that will do just photos and video and brand development for them. So on the graphic side of things, we do logo design, color palette design, and typography selection. So we basically create a kit that has everything you need to take your assets, such as your primary and secondary logo, to social media, to get it printed on stationery, business cards, merchandise. We develop all that. That can be done as an a la carte service. Photos can be hired as an a la carte service, as well as videos. We had a really good partnership come up this year with EOS Worldwide. They're a business leadership solutions where an EOS implementer comes in your small business and helps you improve upon it, basically. And we had a really cool opportunity to work with an implementer directly. And Frankie and I are shooting photos and videos for each one of her clients. So each client gets a company overview documentary that talks about where they're at before EOS, what went into the EOS process, and then learning what you like gained from it and where the company's at today. So that's an a la carte photo video service that we're doing, which is really fun. We really enjoy it.
That's awesome. So many great services, and you guys do a great job at all of them. Kevin, thanks so much for sharing your story, the LaunchKit story. As always, we end with one tip you have for professional people out there.
Ooh, that's a good one. I want to go back to like the get involved and like put yourself out there and find like-minded people. Think about what you're interested in, what gets you excited. If you could do anything tomorrow, right? What would you do? All right. So think about what that is, find that niche and then get involved in that niche. Facebook groups, Instagram, any sort of social media, put yourself out there and think about what you want to be known for, right? So be your authentic self online. Put that out there, and you'll attract like-minded people, and you'll find yourself with a great network of colleagues.
Awesome stuff, Kevin. And if anyone needs help getting that authentic story out there, they know who to call now. Thanks so much for coming on, Kevin. It was a blast.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. And remember, keep it professional, people.